Hi guys, all welcome. First of all, I just want to say that I won't have any gift for you at the end of the day, so I'm gonna throw anything out. So, just compared to the previous keynote, so I would just want to say that I'm gonna talk about some topic which is a bit opposite of what Aaron was speaking, which is how to optimize your game in the overseas market. It's more, and culturalization is one of the topic about this. Actually, this keynote is more relevant for. Is it coming? It's more relevant for developers from mainland China, and also like Hong Kong and Asian territory, Korea, Japan, and also some European companies, publishers who would like to optimize their game, culturalize their game to local markets. So, like personally, I'm coming from an expansion background, a growth background, where we were focusing on local markets worldwide. And I'm at YOOZOO. Some of you guys might know about YOOZOO already. We are quite big, actually, in terms of international expansion. As you can see, like we have more than like 11 offices around the world, and seven different countries. And then we already like localize games, culturalize games to overseas markets, and just give you an idea like who we are shortly. And then we already launched more than 40 games in web and mobile. So if you see the markets which are interesting, so I just want to say that I'm gonna go through like very high level details. In case you have like specific questions, you can always send me an email or talk to me later. So in terms of the high level topics, you all know that, you know, like which kind of markets has the highest potential. So I mean, as you can see, like the you know, like the Asia Pacific is the biggest market, but we're gonna more talk about the European market and the MENA market, Middle East and Turkey, and also Latin America, and which is also kind of one of the key culturalization market that I would list. So if you see like the potential market in terms of culturalization, you have like a huge market, which is Europe, which is 280 million players potential, and then you have like Southeast Asia and Russia as individual markets. These markets specifically are the keys for expansion into other territories. I know all you guys have games in the Asian territory which are doing well, but most of the time what Asian developers or European developers think that localizing the game is enough for entering a market. So what I think is actually nowadays the trend is in the culturalization. I mean, some Chinese developers are doing extremely well. I'm going to present you in the next slides. But culturalize your game to these markets would give you a big chance, especially like I listed the potential markets with their player and market size ranking. The first one is the Middle East market, which is very interesting because it has a lot of young population. As you can see, it has a huge mobile penetration, especially in mobile games. And then you have countries like Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar, where you can reach lots of whales, like big heavy pay users. And culturalizing your game to this market would give you a lot of chance to increase your revenues and reach more user base. And also Southeast Asia is quite important. As you know, that Indonesia and Thailand and all, like, you know, Malaysia, Philippines, they are in increasing trend, and investing something in the local content will give you a lot of chance in the future to get higher revenues and higher positioning in this market. Russia and Europe is also quite interesting. Russia is unique because you need to also have the right localization and culturalization to enter the Russian market. It's not like easy. Just to localize Russian is not enough. So you need to have a proper understanding of the market if you want to enter this market. And in terms of Europe, I can say that Germany is one of the biggest market that you can target in terms of localizing your content. Also France is quite important. I mean, Italy, Spain is not there yet, it's coming, but Germany and France are the key two markets. So, I mean, just to talk about the definition of culturalization, it's more like rethinking creative choices by learning and adapting your content to other regions' environment. So, which means, I mean, culturalization doesn't mean like localization or just hiring some customer service guys on the local office. It's more like changing everything from game UI to game design, also like the monetization part. So just to give you some examples from our side and some other competitor games. So if you can see that, I mean, this is one of the cases we did with Legacy of Discord, which was a global success, and then we made a Middle East version of it. So as you can see, like we changed everything, like from the design to the events schedule. I mean, we made like some Ramadan event, and also like we added pyramids to the game, which is quite famous in Egypt. On the other side, you can see like most of the Chinese companies, like they changed their Three Kingdoms style games to European style games, and they changed like the NPCs UI and also like the main screen, like the home screen, the main UI. So these kind of changes are the key. Also, in terms of that was the development part. In terms of marketing and publishing, so you see like the culturalizing your content give you a lot of chance to reach more audience, especially if you use these graphics in marketing campaigns. You reach a lot of users. Your marketing campaigns are more profitable. I mean, we saw it in different cases in Latin America and Middle East, so that the marketing, if you use like localized marketing assets, you will reach more users. Also, in terms of App Store optimization, as you can see, like Rise of Kingdoms from Lilith. So for example, they use like different character for each App Store page. For example, if you go to Germany, this is my App Store. You see like Deutschland, like the German character, and then if you go to like Mexico, you have a Mexican, Latin American character. So they use it very wisely to attract also the user base within the app inside. So basically, if you just see like as a funnel, you have the game itself, which is culturalized, fully localized, and then you go to marketing part, you see like the banners in the local language and local character, and then once you enter the game, the App Store page is also localized, and that's kind of like the optimal localization, we call it these days. So I give you some best cases from the world. I mean, Revenge of Sultan is still doing a lot of revenue, so they reach $50 million monthly revenue in the region, just from 3 countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE and Qatar mostly. So what they did is actually they took a Chinese game, which was really successful. They just re-skinned it fully to the Arabic culture, and then they launched it in the Middle East market. And they are still like popular in the last months. So they've been, you can see like the revenue increase, like and the download increase on the charts. It was a huge success, and it made a huge impact for the local developer. Another case is Game of Sultan. It is very popular in different markets also. It's also a really good example to show that even like the localized character can be successful in different territories as well. For example, in Russia, it's the top grossing game. Even it has nothing to do with Russians like this kind of content. So, and also like Indonesia, and even like US, it has a good positioning. And it's also very important to see that they localized it from a Chinese version, which was very Three Kingdom style, very local APK, and they made a big success of localizing it into market. This is one of our cases. We made it for Japanese market. We took again like a Chinese game, localized for the Japanese market. As you can see, like the downloads and the revenue increase was huge as a YOOZOO case, as you can see. And just to talk about the KPIs briefly, what kind of KPIs you would like to target by culturalizing your games. Actually, the retention rate is quite important, because if you have a culturalized version of your game, the users stick more into the game. So you can target like these KPIs like 1, 7, 15, and 30 days. You can see like a big increase in terms of retention rates after you culturalize your content for the respective country. And also like in terms of marketing, CTRs are very important. You know, like the click-through rate of your marketing campaigns are higher, and then you save a lot of your profitability goes higher because you use the localized characters. And also like the DRPU and all the monetization KPIs are also higher. So I gave you some example. After the culturalization, we had a huge increase in terms of such KPIs. So just to talk about the takeaways quickly, I mean, it's kind of like the final slide. So what is my suggestion, like humble suggestion, is like, if you want to really be successful in other territories than in mainland China, and you are a European developer, you want to expand your game to other territories, you should definitely look into regions like Middle East, Latin America, you know, Southeast Asia, even India is coming up. And I mean, try to come up with different strategies for these different markets. And content is very important nowadays for mobile games, so it's going to give you a lot of content opportunity. So if you have a successful game in China and the KPIs are really good, by culturalizing the game, you will have a lot of more content automatically. And then also, I mean, culturalization is not like just language or translation, or you know, like just the customer service, as I mentioned. So I mean, just about like the full reskin of the game, so from scratch. And nowadays is not a big issue like before. I mean, we see a lot of companies can do it like in a very fast and quick manner. And also, I would suggest definitely to use a separate APK, and this could also really help for optimizing your marketing campaigns. You can get more featuring in local app stores, and then you can manage your APK much more flexible. And it depends on how big you are thinking to push the game, but a separate APK is definitely a good strategy. And also in terms of marketing, as I mentioned before, just using the content from the game, creating some CGIs on 3D graphics is going to help you a lot to optimize your marketing campaigns. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, you can always drop me an email or ask me.
Yeah, is there anyone? Yeah, well, let's give them a round of applause first. And I will just say, does anyone have any questions? If so, raise your hand. Otherwise, like I said, I'm sure you'll be around for anyone who has any questions.
Yeah, thanks all.
Yeah, give them another round of applause and say thank you.